with the international global theater community and Siegel Talk participants. We have done over 150 talks. Some of the participants joined us again, and then together with Abhishek and Tanvi from India, from Bangalore and Mumbai, we invited Indian theater artists to join us and to contribute towards a better understanding of the situation, also to support Abhishek and his colleague. They have been up nights after nights in this time of crisis, connecting Indian fellow citizens to hospitals, and to doctors, and to bring care, and even, you know, if I understand right, repaired. Is that true? You kind of collected pieces for oxygen machines and you put it together, Abhishek?
Yeah, that's right.
So you, as a theater company, did a work that normally the state, the hospital should do. So you bought these machines, or how did it work?
Yeah, actually, I mean, that there were two aspects to it. There is one company which is not just theater people, also some other people who work. We bought a lot of oxygen cylinders and kept it in certain areas, which could be used for emergency in places where they cannot afford the oxygen. So
Amazing.
That's something we had to work on. Yeah.
Did you learn yourself? You repaired oxygen machines? Did you put some screws on?
Yeah, we had to learn that. We had to, I mean, my medical knowledge has gone up so much that I almost feel like a quack at the moment. You know? It's unreasonable how much medical knowledge we have.
Good. So we are slowly transforming into the third edition, you know, of our talks. We started off with Thea Rogers from HowlRound and Marvin Carlson, who was our special surprise guest, the great theater historian, we think perhaps the most distinguished in the world. And then we had Hope Asida from Rwanda, Carol Martin, Elizabeth Hayes, and Pamela from Italy. And now with us, we have a great lineup of people who move objects on stage, and they are puppets. It's the significant field, and we have with us the great Basil Jones. We have Manuel here from New York. We have Paulette in Chicago, I forget. But tell us about those. So first of all, say hello, and then Sreeja from India, who we're going to start the segment with. But maybe all of us, you guys, say short hello and where you are and what time it is. Manuel, where are you?
Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here. Very excited to be part of this. I'm in New York City. I'm actually from Puerto Rico, but I am in New York City. And right. the time here is 12:04 p.m.
And Paulette, where are you?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and the time is 12:04.
Basil, where are you? We don't know. You have to put the mic on. You're on mute.
Okay. I'm Sreeja from Kerala.
Sreeja from Kerala. Yes. What time are you in the evening? Right.
9:30.
9:30. Basil.
It's 7 o'clock, and Adrian Kohler, my colleague, and I are in Kemer in Turkey, on the Mediterranean coast.
Amazing. And Basil will tell us about a most amazing theater project. You know, he is with us. And you are where?
Kemer. In Turkey, on the Mediterranean coast.
Yeah. So Sreeja, we start with you. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Actually, I'm going
Sreeja.
to
Oh, Deepa, yeah.
Yes. I'm Sreeja. Born and lived in a rural village of Kerala, Thrissur district. Working as a theater person, playwright, actress, and an social activist. And an organic farmer also. I'm a founder member of first independent women's movement in Kerala called as Manushi in my college days. Now I am working as a secretary of a culture, agriculture, rural group called Padashala. Literally means it's a learning center of learning, and it have 3 divisions. Krishi Padashala, that means agriculture learning center, and Kala Padashala, that means art center, and children's Padashala, that means this means Tira, literally means crescent moon, and it's a children's movement. And I am working in the field of theater, a playwright, and I wrote about 10 play scripts. It received so many awards from Kerala State Government, from Kerala Sangeethanada Academy and Sahitya Literary Academy. And I am an organizer, and we have a cultural cultural fest in every day in our paddy land. 3 days festival. It's a agriculture festival.
Incredible. So you work in the field of theater and in the fields of agriculture.
Yeah,
that is sensational. I have not. So you run your own farm.
And professionally, I am working as a government servant in GST, Goods and Service Department.
Wow. Wow. And you work with Deepa together?
Deepa is my friend and a co-worker. She's a theater artist also and a senior journalist in Kerala.
Yeah. So tell us a little, how has this been for you, this moment, this time of Corona? How was your personal experience, your political experience of it? For Deepa and Sreeja, yeah.
Excuse me, I am switched over to Malayalam and Deepa will translate it. Okay.
Yes.
കോവിഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഈ മഹാമാരി നമുക്കറിയാം 1.5 വർഷത്തിലേറെയായി നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ വന്നിട്ട്. ലോകത്തെ കോവിഡിന് മുമ്പും കോവിഡിന് ശേഷവും എന്ന രീതിയിൽ ലോകത്തെ വിഭജിച്ച ഒരു വലിയ മഹാമാരി നമ്മുടെയൊക്കെ ജീവിതകാലത്ത് ആദ്യത്തെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആണ്.
Okay, let's translate. Wait 1 second. Let's translate.
Okay. This pandemic, we have been living with this pandemic for the last 1.5 years, and it has divided our world into it has divided our world into two, like before COVID and after COVID.
And ഈ ഒരു ഇതുപോലെ ഓരോ രാജ്യത്തിനെയും ബാധിക്കുന്ന ഒരുപാട് പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ അത് എല്ലാ ലോകത്തിലെ മുഴുവൻ രാജ്യങ്ങളെയും ദേശങ്ങളെയും ബാധിക്കുന്ന ഇത്രയും വലിയൊരു മഹാമാരി നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ആദ്യമാണ്. ഒരു ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റ് എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ, ഒരു നാടക കലാകാരി എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ, ഒരു സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കർ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ, ഒരു ഓർഗാനിക് ഫാർമർ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിനെ ഇത് വല്ലാതെ ബാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Good. Let's translate.
Before COVID, each country had its own specific issues. The issues were different, but this pandemic has affected the whole world. And as an artist, as an organic farmer, as a social activist, my experience has been very different. Something unprecedented experience that I had.
ഇതില് ഈ ഒരു സമയത്ത് നമ്മൾ ആദ്യത്തെ പ്രാവശ്യം ലോക്ക്ഡൌൺ കേരളത്തിലും ഇന്ത്യയിലും ഒക്കെ പ്രഖ്യാപിക്കുന്ന ആ സമയത്ത് വളരെ പെട്ടെന്നാണ് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നാളെ കഴിഞ്ഞ് 2ാമത്തെ ദിവസം ലോക്ക്ഡൌൺ ആണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് പെട്ടെന്ന് പ്രഖ്യാപിക്കുകയും അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ജീവിതങ്ങൾ മുഴുവൻ വളരെ നിശ്ചലമാവുകയും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തു. നമ്മളൊക്കെ ഒരു ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റ് എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ ഓടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. വളരെ
So in India, the lockdown was declared all of a sudden. We did not have time to prepare. So all our lives came to a standstill. It was like, as an artist, we were leading a very busy life, but everything came to a standstill after the lockdown was announced.
നമ്മൾ വളരെ ഒരു നിശ്ചലാവസ്ഥയിലേക്ക് കടന്നു വന്നു. എല്ലാ അർത്ഥത്തിലും നമുക്ക് നാടക അവതരണങ്ങൾ ഇല്ലാതായി, നമ്മുടെ സോഷ്യൽ വർക്ക് ആക്ടിവിസം പൂർണ്ണമായിട്ടും ഇല്ലാതായി. നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന മറ്റൊരുപാട് സെമിനാറുകള്, പെർഫോമൻസുകള്, തിയേറ്റർ ക്ലാസ്സുകള്, തിയേറ്റർ ക്യാമ്പുകള്, ഇതെല്ലാം പെട്ടെന്ന് നിലച്ചു. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിന് വളരെ സ്പീഡി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ജീവിതം വളരെ പെട്ടെന്ന് നിശ്ചലമായി.
The life which was moving ahead in high speed, it became very slow. We walked into a kind of stillness. we used to do theater performances. We used to do camps for children. We used to do training for theater activists. All that came to a standstill.
ഞങ്ങൾ പക്ഷേ ഇതിനൊക്കെ വളരെ വൈയക്തികമായി വളരെ പേഴ്സണലി പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ വാസ്തവത്തിൽ എന്നെ ഈ കോവിഡിന്റെ വളരെ വ്യക്തിപരമായിട്ട് നമ്മളത് അങ്ങനെ ബാധിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. കാരണം ഞാൻ ഒരേ സമയത്ത് ഞാനും എൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിയും എൻ്റെ കൂടെയുള്ള ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് മൊത്തം വെറും തിയേറ്റർ ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റുകൾ മാത്രമായിരുന്നില്ല, ഞങ്ങൾ ഫാർമേഴ്സും കൂടി ആയിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിനെ ഫാമിങ്ങിനെ വളരാത്ത രീതിയിൽ ഇത് ബാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. നമ്മുടെ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ കൂടുതൽ കൃഷിയിലേക്ക് കേന്ദ്രീകരിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞു.
Okay, personally, I can say that COVID did not affect me that much because we were not just a theater group, we were also farmers. So our life was very localized in that sense. And our group was, we continued doing the farming activities. And so we started concentrating more into farming.
അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ കൂടെയുള്ള കുട്ടികളൊരു വലിയ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഉണ്ട്. അവര് നമ്മളെ കൃഷിയിൽ നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ നിൽക്കുകയും നാടകങ്ങൾ റിഹേഴ്സൽ ചെയ്യുകയും പാട്ടുകൾ പാടുകയും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിരുന്ന ഒരു സംഘം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അവരും ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും കൂടി കൃഷി ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഫാമിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് മറ്റു കൊല്ലങ്ങളെക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ നന്നാവുകയൊക്കെ ചെയ്തു. പക്ഷെ നമുക്ക് അരങ്ങുകളിൽ നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്ത ഒരു വലിയ പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിലുള്ളവർക്ക് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
We had a children's theater group. These children used to work with us on stage. They had like a performing band, and they were also doing agriculture with us. So all these things we continued, but the only thing that we could not continue was to perform on stage. And that was, and also some of us were having serious financial difficulties once the COVID affected some of their livelihoods.
Mm-hmm. Just a question, Sreeja, will you also do a reading for us later on? Do you prepare something, or do we?
Video clipping, so I'm not prepared.
Yeah,
okay. So let's.
I think her daughter is planning to do some performance, I think.
ആക്ച്വലി ഞങ്ങള് ഈ കാലത്ത് കൃഷിയുടെ കൂടെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ ചെറിയ ചെറിയ റിഹേഴ്സലുകൾ ഞങ്ങളുടെ വീടിന്റെ അകത്ത് വെച്ചിട്ട് 4-5 പേരെ മാത്രം വെച്ച് ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുപാട് ചെറിയ നാടകങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. റിഹേഴ്സലുകൾ മാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾ ചില നാടകം എന്നുള്ളത് ഞങ്ങൾ വീടിന്റെ മുമ്പിലുള്ള ചെറിയ പെർഫോമൻസുകളായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ ഈ കോവിഡ് കാലത്ത് 3-4 പേരെ മാത്രം വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വീടുകളുടെ മുമ്പത്ത് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. നാടകങ്ങൾ ചെറിയതായിട്ട് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു.
We started doing some small rehearsals of some small skits inside our houses. The Malayalam word for drama is nadagam, which means inside your village. So we turned that into Vidagam. Vidagam means like inside our house. അത് കൂടാതെ അതിന്റെ ഇടയ്ക്കാണ് നമ്മുടെ കർഷക സമരമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ള പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങളൊരു കർഷകരെന്ന നിലയ്ക്കും തിയേറ്റർ പേഴ്സൺസ് എന്നുള്ള നിലയ്ക്കും ഞങ്ങൾ ഈ കർഷക സമരമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് കുറെ പാട്ടുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയും അത് പാടുകയും പെർഫോം ചെയ്യുകയും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഈ കർഷക സമരമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് അതിന്റെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ കൂടുതൽ ആളുകളുടെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നമ്മളൊരു നാടകം ചെയ്തിരുന്നു.
Let's translate.
It was during this time that this national level farmers protest began, and we also, in solidarity with that protest, we created some songs. We did some small performances in different parts of our village to create an awareness among the people about this farmers protest. We did some small skits also.
Good. We have 5 minutes for you, Sreeja. Do you have a video clip, or you have something to show us, or you want to do a reading?
I think my daughter and I sing that song.
Good.
It's available in YouTube. We are the farmers.
But sing it now. That would be great. Is your daughter there?
Okay. Yes.
We don't miss anything. We still have time to talk afterwards.
Okay.
What's your name of your daughter? What's your name? Get closer a little bit, your daughter, so we see her, your daughter. Yes, that's good. So here we go. What's your name?
What's your name?
Hello.
Savitri. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
What is
They
your
were
name?
asking your name.
My name is Savitri.
Savitri. Okay, wonderful. So you're going to hear a song, and you sang that song in the time of the protests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we are ready to hear.
She is also a theater person and a dancer and singer also.
Okay.
We are the farmers. We are the farmers. We are the farmers. We are the farmers. We feed the nation. We build the nation. We feed, we build the nation. We are the farmers. Make the earth more fertile. Let us make the earth more lively. Let us make the earth more lovely. Let us make the earth more fertile, more lively, more lovely. We are the farmers. No part to move, no part to flow, no part to work for the whole of the world. We are the farmers. We are the farmers. We are the farmers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So you went through villages and you performed this and you had masks on, or how did you do it?
Yeah, within the village, I think. Inside the village, their own village.
Their own village. But did you perform it with masks on, or on the town square? Where did it happen?
Actually, we didn't use mask. We just performed the play. Yeah.
No, actually, it's a very rural area. There are no towns there. A small 1-2 shops will be there. So I think they have social distancing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. And what do you produce on your farm, on your fields? What plants?
Actually, mainly paddy and vegetables. Organic vegetables and organic paddy. And we sell it in our local market. A weekly market is here. We organize a weekly market, and the villagers can sell their products in the market.
That is just incredible. And how has the response been? Did people stop? Did people listen?
എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മള് ഒരു ചെറിയ നാട്ടുമ്പുറമാണ്. അവിടെയുള്ള ആളുകൾ മുഴുവൻ നമ്മുടെ ഒരുപാട് പേര് നമ്മളെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ സപ്പോർട്ട് കൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമ്മളിപ്പോ 10-20 വർഷമായിട്ട് ഈ പാഠശാല എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഇവിടെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഒരുപാട് കൃഷിക്കാരും ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റുകളും നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ അസോസിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്.
Okay.
Ours is a very remote village. The people have been supporting us for almost for the last 20 years. And that is how our group, the Padashala, is doing things there. And also there are many farmers, artists, and people from different walks of life cooperating with us, supporting us.
That's amazing. So we are coming to an end of the section. Sreeja, is there something you want to tell us? Something you would like to say to the world?
എനിക്ക് പ്രധാനമായിട്ട് പറയാനുള്ളത്, നമ്മുടെ ഇപ്പൊ ഏത് മഹാമാരി വന്നാലും മനുഷ്യൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരാളെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്ത് പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെയും അതിജീവിക്കാനുള്ള ഒരു വലിയ ശക്തി ഇന്റേണൽ ആയിട്ട് മനസ്സിന്റെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള ഒരു ശക്തിയുണ്ട്. മനുഷ്യന്റെ നന്മ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു ശക്തിയുടെ മുകളിലാണ് ലോകം ഇതുവരെ നിലനിന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇനിയും തുടർന്നും മനുഷ്യന്റെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള നന്മ കൊണ്ട് ലോകം ഇതിനെ മുഴുവൻ മറികടക്കുകയും നിലനിൽക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുമെന്ന് ഈ ലോകത്തെ മുഴുവൻ എല്ലാ ജീവജാലങ്ങളെയും ഒന്നായി കൊണ്ടു, മനുഷ്യൻ മാത്രമല്ല ലോകത്തെ എല്ലാ ജീവജാലങ്ങളെയും ഒന്നിച്ച് കാണാനുള്ള ഒരു ശക്തി ഉണ്ടായാൽ മാത്രമേ ലോകത്തെ നിലനിൽക്കാൻ കഴിയുള്ളൂ എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു.
Okay, thank you.
I think the most important human quality is the ability to do good things and to persevere. So I think even if the pandemic seems to be very, very frightening, I think we will survive. And we also have to keep in mind that we also have to think about all the living things, not only humanity, but we have to bring into our fold all the living things and take care of them.
This is so important. The plants, the animals, that
Yeah,
spacious, yes, in the 10 meters above us and the 10 meters below us is the most crucial thing. So we now go on to thank you so much, Sreeja. This is fantastic. And thank you for the song.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Basil, tell us a little bit where you are and what you are doing and your amazing project.
Thank you, Frank. We are in Turkey, and we are rehearsing a project that has been delayed by a year because of COVID. I brought Adrian in because of several reasons. But the most important is that he is my husband of 50 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are celebrating 3 or 4 important events.
Celebrating, is it your birthday today or not? This is what we heard.
My birthday, I'm 70 years old today.
Congratulations, great Basil Jones, great genius, as many say, on stage for puppets who, look up what they did in South Africa. We don't have so much time, but please look at the work of Handspring. It is sensational. So, but go on.
Yeah, so our company is 40 years old this year as well. Handspring Puppet Company has been going for 40 years. Adrian and I were together for 10 years before we started the company. So we've been together for 50 years. And we met when we were 19 years old. And we're now 70. So Adrian turned 70 in December. So it's a very big year for us. And we're kind of almost retiring from theatre, but we were asked to do this project, and it came out of the jungle in Calais. Maybe Adrian, you can say something.
Yeah, the jungle it's no longer there, but it was a refugee camp housing 12,000 people at the time, at its height, and 2 young British writers went to see whether they could be of any assistance to anybody there. And they found that whilst there were spontaneous mosques and churches that had sprung up and small shops serving that community, there was no central place for anybody to meet. People were living in a very hand-to-mouth, obviously, way. And so they went back, they found a second-hand geodesic dome and went back to Calais, to the jungle, and with the help of the residents in the camp, they built this dome, and it became a meeting place where music started to happen, poetry started to happen, and eventually theatre, and a play developed there, which became a more professional production. Some of the refugee actors went to London and joined in with professional actors in London and produced a piece of theatre at the Young Vic called The Jungle. And it was a huge success. It played in New York.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, in this play, there was a little girl who never spoke. And so they felt maybe they could extend the life of the project by developing the character of this little 9-year-old girl. She comes from Syria, and she is forced to leave the country. She's looking for her mother, and her father is dead, and she's looking for her mother, and she leaves and she travels all the way across Europe on the road that refugees take, looking for a place to live.
So can we now show that clip, if I may, if Josh could show that clip, which is 2 minutes long, which kind of introduces the walk a little bit, and Little Amal, which is the giant puppet that we have made.
chérie, je m'adresse à toi. Avec toi, chérie, la vie est belle.
Incredible,
Thank you.
incredible. It brings tears to your eyes. So tell us a bit.
Yeah, so the idea really is to create empathy across Europe for migrancy. And the way that this is happening is that every city that she is going to, and I'll just read you some of the cities. It's not, Sanremo, La Roya. Well, let me start from Turkey. Gaziantep, Adana, Tarsus, Mersin, Bozkır, Konya, Antalya, Pamukkale, Ephesus, Izmir, Çeşme, Chios, Ioannina, Kabaka, Trikala, Larissa, Athens, Piraeus, Bari, Scampitelli, Naples, Rome, Florence, Bologna, Milan, so on. It goes,
Incredible.
there's 70 cities. And in every place that she goes to, she'll be meeting different kinds of people. Sometimes they are migrancy camps, so not really a city, it's outside the city. But other times they're an art group or a group of children. Every single place that she goes to, people are being asked, how would you like to welcome her? So some places she's welcomed with food, other places she's welcomed with dancing, other places she's welcomed with a concert, other places she's welcomed by the mayor of the city. But it's all about welcome and yeah.
The Good Chance Company, who initially did the jungle, feel that whilst ultimately refugees in the world are a political issue and spurred on by climate change and war, where farmers, it was beautiful hearing the performances done by Sreeja in India, to see a combination of theatre and farming in one life. You know, the impact of global climate change is going to make refugees more and more visible in the world, and so ultimately politicians are going to have to recognize this. But the Good Chance people feel that it's very important that we experience the joy of the humanity, that the talent that is forced to leave. Nobody leaves their home deliberately or purposefully. They leave because they have to, and they take with them their culture and their talent and their energy and their will to survive. And I suppose we're hoping that this project might help the rest of the world recognize that.
We're sort of describing it as a play taking place along a stage which is 8,000 kilometers long, with one child as the main actor and a cast of 10,000 extras. And that's really, no one will see the whole play. But the people along the road, there will be thousands of people along the road who will see her and her response. And we're finding that puppets are sort of, they're very, very good at empathy. When you try and make an inanimate thing come to life, then air turns to breath. You make breath out of air. You make, and that process of creating a breathing object that takes on life, it gives you hope. I think that's the bringing forth of something that's dead into the living. It gives you hope, and that's one of the things that we think Amal will do. She's a kind of a Buddha of empathy.
Yeah, and here in Turkey, we're in the final stages of rehearsal. She's quite a challenge to actually work. Somebody on stilts inside her, and one person on each of her hands, plus a support person at the back of her spine in case the wind is blowing strong or the road is too stony. She needs that extra support. And the launch starts next week.
Incredible, incredible.
And it's becoming really close now. She's going out at night in the town of Kemer here, which is a holiday resort next to the sea. And so she's going out at night, walking the back streets of this little town to allow the actors to be familiar with rough stones and cars and people who bump into her.
It's very hard, I have to tell you, to manipulate this puppet, because when you are on stilts inside her, her head is up, your head is there, her head is above you. So you can't see her eyes, where her eyes are looking. Right. You are manipulating strings inside her chest that move her eyes from side to side and up and down, and the head up and down. But you've got to be well enough versed in that manipulation technique from watching it in a mirror indoors to know where her eyes are looking, because she can't accept a gift if she's not looking at the gift. So right. She can't be engaging with a person if she's looking in the wrong direction. And also it's very hot here. So when you're walking, you get very, very hot. You might have noticed that her chest is open. She doesn't have cloth over her chest. That's because the puppeteers would find it intolerable to have cloth over them, even if it's see-through cloth.
Yeah, so here in Turkey, we've been stripping away her shirt. She's wearing the remnants of a collar and cuffs on her arms, and the rest of it, she's got, natural air conditioning front and back. And then from her waist down, she's got a nice skirt and some nice boots.
We have 9 puppeteers and 2 teams. So they're very, very carefully worked out who she's going to meet on what day. And one team will be dealing with her walking over a bridge on one day, and then another team, and they can really focus on the bridge walking. Another team will be dealing with a feast that is held in her honor on the next day, so they can work out how she deals with food, because you have to understand that a puppet can't eat food. So if people give you food, you've got to have a dignified way of dealing with it. You can give it to other people, you can give it to your puppet manipulators to eat, but you've got to have an idea of how to deal with food. So every single every single event has to have a great deal of thought about how to courteously get through it, and how to deal with the great limitations of the puppet.
And we've made a choice that she doesn't actually speak. She if she needs to speak, she calls one of her puppeteers and they will speak for her, because we found it very difficult to decide what kind of a voice does this giant puppet have. A normal human voice wouldn't actually sound quite right. And also we have many different languages that we are going through. And
yeah, the 9 puppeteers speak a variety of languages, from Arabic through Italian to Spanish, Eritrean, and of course English.
In Palestine, yeah.
So it would be very difficult for her to actually speak. So she's not what's her name?
Oh, she's not Greta Thunberg, who speaks very eloquently herself.
Right.
She comes with joy. She comes to play. She doesn't come to teach you anything.
Mm-hmm. It's just stunning looking at the images. How will it be to encounter her? Just the very end of the video, when little girl comes and touches her, you can see how the girl is moved by it. And you're right about the idea of the refugees. Some say America was founded on refugees, people who said there is a better future. I should leave the place where I am. I'm going to go to, for example, in America, there is something, where I will bring my energy, and we have to accept that. Like Pamela Veronese just said before us in Palermo, said everybody who lives in Palermo, the day he or she arrives, they are from Palermo. We don't distinguish. So this is a great theme, and what you do is so beautifully done. And this is extraordinary effort, what you do there. I have my highest respect. This is just outstanding on the scale, and she will be a legend, I think. And do you have 2 heads? Do you have 2 puppets or 3, or will she be always one?
No, we have 2 which are exact copies, and there's a 3rd one in storage in case we have to quickly get it out.
Put that out. Yeah.
But we have to have, we cannot disappoint people saying that the puppet is broken. So we have to have a second puppet, and of course that all travels with us in a truck. There are 9 puppeteers, but there are 12 people who are facilitating everything, organizing everything, and interfacing with local people in local culture. So every single place, there are local people, local artists that are going to sing for her, or create something special for her, or do something.
There's an ancient bridge in the second town she gets to, called the town of Adana. It's thousands of years old. I'm not exactly sure how old, but the town is extremely proud of this bridge, and they wanted her to cross the bridge. So we needed a story. So we've said that she's never seen a river before. This is her first river, and she's going to be scared to cross it. She sees a lot of water rushing under the bridge. So she approaches it with the town is supplying a band to play music for her, but she refuses to cross. She steps onto the bridge, and then she's too scared. And then from the other side of the bridge, a whole flock of swallows arrive, and we puppet swallows, because they're also migrants. They also migrate across the world, and so they fly towards her and encourage her to cross the bridge. And then the band starts playing again once she's getting over the bridge, and they all go off to the concert in the forest.
Incredible. What an incredible image also to bridge something from one thing to another. That is amazing. Really, thank you. Perhaps you would walk India one day, who knows? Abhishek now has 40 artists lined up. She would maybe, Amal could go there one day, but we're going to move on to our next session. I don't know if you can stay and listen in, which would be wonderful, but really both of you, thank you for sharing. This is one of the greatest projects I've ever heard of. And especially in this time and after COVID, this is so that crisis we are in. It is an extraordinary response by artists, and it will be seen and move people and show what our field can do. So Paulette and Manuel, what do you think when you see that?
I think it's fantastic. Congratulations, Basil, and everybody. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. We're doing something different, but kind of similar in the streets of New York now. And I wanted to
tell us a little bit about you first, Paulette. Since Manuel started, but we'll start what we're saying, but tell us a little bit who you are, what you do.
Okay, I am a puppet artist and independent researcher. I am very fortunate to live in Atlanta, about 10 minutes as the crow flies from the Center for Puppetry Arts. I am fangirling at this moment. I can't even believe I'm in the same virtual room with Basil Jones and Adrian Kohler. I've been looking at the phenomenal Warhorse puppet that they have at the Center for Puppetry Arts for several years, and I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you.
Same here, same here. I'm actually a fan of your work. You're an inspiration. So congratulations, both because of your work and also your personal life and the birthday. I'm Manuel Moran. I am a theater artist, puppeteer, playwright, director, producer. I run the only Latino children's theater in New York City, and perhaps the only space dedicated to Latino children's theater in the United States. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I've been doing theater for young audiences for the past 35 years. And I'm very happy and honored to be here with all of you.
And you created a festival, right? Claudia Orenstein said, you know, this is one of the few places in the US where you feel like you're in Avignon or in Edinburgh, like this is a festival. Tell us a bit.
Yes, I'm actually the founder and the producer of the International Puppet Fringe Festival, the only and first ever Fringe theater festival dedicated to puppetry. We launched the festival in 2018. It's a biennial festival. It happens every 2 years. And last year, we had to cancel the festival because of the pandemic. But I said this year we're doing it. And I am so thrilled and excited that we have just announced the festival is happening during the month of August. And it's going to be a hybrid festival, both virtual and on site in New York City. We have over 70 events in 3 weeks. So many of them are going to be virtual. So I invite everyone to look at the program. We have companies from India, from Africa, from Latin America, from Spain, from many different parts that are going to be presenting their work virtually, and also some companies on site. It's puppetfringenyc.com.
So yeah, maybe you can have one live session with Amal, you know, and so in case it's filmed, you know, in the festival, you make just one session. So Paulette and Manuel, did you prepare a reading for us? Will you talk about how this time is for you, just so I know?
Yes, I actually wanted to read. It's a short story of when the first time I saw theater, live theater, and I wrote a little story from my book called Butter, Adventures and Tribulations of a Puerto Rican Boy. So I think, you know, kids have been deprived of live theater for a year and a half. And the experience that I mentioned, you know, that I retold here transformed my life and gave me a purpose. And I think it is important for us to understand that it's important to go back as soon as we can to bring live theater to young audiences, because it's an experience that will transform their lives.
Paulette, what?
Oh, yes. So I wanted to honor the occasion by reading 2 short poems by Lucille Clifton on the theme of Kali.
Fantastic. So maybe we start. Manuel, do you want to start with the reading?
Sure. It's 2 pages. So here I go. It was a morning like any other. I woke up and followed my morning routine, brush my teeth, put on my school uniform, comb my hair, and go to school. I had no idea that this day would be special. I was in 3rd grade at the Jose Gualberto Padilla Elementary School in my hometown, Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. When class started, the teacher, La Missy, like we used to call her, told us that she had a surprise for us. With enthusiasm, she said, during 2nd period, we're going to the schoolyard to see a theater and puppet show. Without knowing what that was, I waited anxiously for the moment to arrive. It was finally time, and we all stood in a line to walk to the schoolyard. Our group was one of the last ones, and all the other students were already there. At one of the four sides of the yard was a puppet stage and sound equipment playing a famous children's song. They sat us down on the ground and we clapped to the rhythm of the music, entertained by the songs. Once all the groups were organized and seated, the school's principal spoke about the show we were about to see and asked us to give our full attention to the performance about to begin. The play was La Plenópera del Empache, the opera plena of the upset stomach, of the bellyache opera, by Leopoldo Santiago Lavandero. It was so much fun, full of music and color. It was the story of a gluttonous child and his mother who spoiled him. One day, the boy gets a terrible stomachache, and the town doctor and many of the neighbors conspire to make the mother think that her son needs surgery to alleviate the pain. They take him to the hospital where they seem to remove shoes, animals, and even a sewing machine from his stomach. In the end, the boy and his mother learn a lesson. Both eating and spoiling children in excess is not good. Despite the fact that I was sitting on the ground outside and that it was hot because the sun's intensity at that time of the day, I was paying close attention to the show. I didn't miss even one detail of the story or any of the components they were using for the presentation. The puppets were very funny, and there were also actors and musicians. I had only seen puppets while watching the minimal amount of TV I was allowed to watch, which included Sesame Street, or in Spanish, Barrio Sésamo or Plaza Sésamo, and probably some other children's program. But this captivated me. I laughed so much during the play, and when it was over, I was eager for more. I approached the improvised stage because I was very curious to learn how they done this or that. After going back to the classroom, my mind would not stop thinking about the show. The evening when I came home, I told my mom all about the play with a lot of enthusiasm, not leaving out one single detail. That's what I want to do when I grow up, I told myself. And I grew up, and theater changed my life. It gave my life direction. I became interested in film, radio, television, music, literature, history, and most of all, theater. I spent all my free time interpreting and role-playing different characters or doing presentations with puppets. And my mother supported and encouraged me by taking me to the theater to see children's theater, as well as helping me create puppets and costumes. I quickly organized a theater troupe which consisted of my neighborhood friends and classmates. That's where I started developing my skills. The troupe soon turned into a community theater company and later into a successful professional theater company. Theater was my obsession and ended up becoming my profession. Thank you.
Incredible. And it just shows how serious we all should take theater for young children, adults, young adults, how important this is. There's a theater company in Stockholm. They do children's theater for starting 9 months to 15 months old babies, you know, very serious theater work by a theater director. And this is a great audience, the greatest audience you can work for. And puppets players actually capture their imagination. It's not easy because they are also honest audiences. Paulette,
Yes.
Tell us a bit about what are you reading about?
So I chose 2 short poems from Lucille Clifton's collection, A Good Woman, because the way she works with the image of the goddess Kali evokes the paradox the pandemic represents for me. The death and destruction have been truly horrific, but they have also opened our eyes to the possibility and the necessity of creating new ways of living.
Great. So the Indian, the god Kali, where you would make the reference to. Mm-hmm.
So the first is the coming of Kali. It is the black god, Kali, a woman god and terrible with her skulls and breasts. I am one side of your skin, she sings. Softness is the other. You know me well, she sings. You know me well. Running Kali off is hard. She is persistent with her black, terrible self. She knows places in my bones I never sing about, but she knows I know them well. She knows. She knows. And the second one is called Calming Collie. Be quiet, awful woman, lonely as hell, and I will comfort you when I can, and give you my bones and my blood to feed on. Gently, gently now, awful woman. I know I am your sister. And then I have my little commentary.
Yeah, say it.
So while Kali is most famous as the destroyer, she has the power to destroy because she is also the original creator. I find that part of the fear Kali inspires is the fear of recognizing the immense power we have within ourselves. The human contribution to the disastrous destruction the pandemic is wreaking on us, on the whole world, is maddening. Yet Kali, like Kali, our rage is righteous. We have a right to our anger. Our anger can be a force for positive change. Our anger can sweep away all the false beliefs that endlessly proliferating scarcity and lack are the natural order of things. Just as Kali lapped up the usurper Raktabija and danced on the corpses of his minions.
Fantastic. Thank you. Really, really thank you for preparing the reading. Deepa, maybe ask Sreeja what were her impressions? What did she think about seeing the puppet Amal, for example? You know, we took a little bit of minutes away. It took us a while to get inertia. So I want to give a minute back to Sreeja. What were her impressions seeing Amal, the girl puppet?
Deepa?
Your sound is off, Deepa.
Deepa, you're on mute.
Deepa, you're on mute.
Okay. പപ്പറ്റിനെ കണ്ടപ്പോൾ റെസ്പോൺസ് എന്താണെന്നാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്.
ഓ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. അതൊരു എന്താ പറയാ, അവര് പറഞ്ഞത് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായത്, ഒരു ഒരൊറ്റ പപ്പറ്റി ഒരുപാട് ആളുകള് അടുത്തുകൂടെ പോയി ഒരുപാട് യാത്ര ചെയ്ത് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു അത് വരാൻ പോകുന്ന ഒരു ഇവന്റ് ആയിട്ട് അവര് പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യണതല്ലേ അത്?
അല്ല, നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
ഇപ്പൊ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ് പല രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ കൂടെ അല്ലെ? അതൊരു അല്ല, എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര നമുക്ക് വളരെ വലിയൊരു ഇതായിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് ഫീൽ ചെയ്തത്. അത് നമുക്കൊരു കേരളത്തിൽ പോലും, ഞാനത് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കല്ലോ, കേരളത്തിൽ പോലും ഒരൊറ്റത്ത് മറ്റൊരു ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മള് എടുക്കുന്ന ഇത് എന്തുമാത്രം വലിയ എഫേർട്ടാണെന്നും, അതൊരു ഹൈലി തിയേറ്ററിക്കലാണ്, അതേസമയം ഭയങ്കര എർത്തിലിയാണ്, ഭയങ്കര എക്സൈറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആണ് അത് കണ്ടപ്പോ തോന്നിയത് ശരിക്കും.
Yeah, she says she is very much excited watching that puppet. It's highly theatrical, yet it is very earthy. And also she says that in Kerala, the theatre groups cannot even imagine traveling. Kerala is a very, very small state, but even then we cannot imagine traveling from one place to another during this pandemic. So what effort would have gone into that? So she appreciates that effort. She is amazed.
Amazing. And I think this puppet also would be welcome at BAM, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, the avant-garde place, but I'm sure also in the town from Sreeja in Kerala. So it's bridges, you know, cultures, countries, and also aesthetic preferences, so which is quite unusual. And in its monumental scale, it is something that really is inspiring, and what the puppetry art, you know, is contributing to that. The question to Paulette and Manuel, what do you feel within the American theater community of puppeteers? This pandemic, has it brought it closer together? Will it be a renaissance, a rebirth? Aya from Hope Azeda from Rwanda said her this year's project is hope, you know, and rebirth, renaissance. Do you think there will be a emergence of the form?
I believe it. Yes, it's actually it has pushed all of us to reinvent ourselves and reinvent ourselves, and also to rethink the purpose of our work as well. I feel that many of us have been creating new stuff during the pandemic, not only moving things to the online, to the virtual reality, but at the same time preparing for what is next. And like in my case, I have been writing, I created a show talking to kids and to the family about seniors. We did a homage to the seniors. It's called Los Grises, the gray ones. It's been playing throughout the streets and parks of New York City for the past month, past 2 months. It's going to be also part of the festival. We're honoring our community, in this case, our seniors, that we have lost so many of them. So I feel like rethinking the way we think, to be a little bit redundant. And also I feel that word also hope. It's also something that we are feeling, especially, seeing the reaction of the people about the festival, the upcoming Puppet Fringe Festival, which is pretty much the first that I know, the first on a presential festival that is going to happen in the United States, Puppet Festival. So after the pandemic, so we are excited, we are hopeful, and I think we have reinvented ourselves.
Good. Paulette, for you, and I know you do so much research on the overlooked contribution of Black puppeteers to puppetry in America. How do you feel the moment is?
So for me, the pandemic is inextricably bound up with the racial reckoning that is largely a result of how the pandemic exposed the systemic inequities that existed all along. And in particular with the murder of George Floyd last summer and the protests and the sort of rethinking, soul searching, and creation of art in response to that event is very much impacting puppetry. So I have a friend who recently completed an over life-size puppet of a political prisoner named Abu Mumia Jamal. And so that puppet is starting to circulate and show up in other places. And I think it will inspire even more monumental images of figures from the struggle. So behind that, and what impresses me even more about the little Amal, this walk, and this event that Frank has organized, is the amount of organization and social connection required to pull something like this off. And I think that as much as the performance itself, that is what makes this kind of theater meaningful. It brings people together.
Thank you. Basil and Adrian, is small. We don't have much time left, but a last word from Turkey, even though you are from South Africa, a little goodbye greeting.
Yes, we would like to say goodbye. Unfortunately, we have to leave because
the
part of our project have prepared a birthday for Basil.
Good. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Basil. It's fantastic to be there with you. The big contribution you made to world theater, really, Adrian, both of you together, but Basil. So thank you.
All the best for the festival coming up, Manuel.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Deepa, thanks for translating.
Thank you.
And I think we are slowly transforming